Life settles into some sort of vague, undefined norm. I visit Rin whenever I can, and on each time is as strange as the first. They consist mainly of me watching Rin work, or just reading a book on the couch while she works. We barely talk at all. Long, quiet evenings stretch over the last weeks of June. I sit on the couch in the atelier, listening to the quiet rustle of Rin's brush and my own heartbeat, trying to make sense of the former and forget about the latter. I'm a silent visitor in this place, a ghost. At some point, I start thinking that my presence is meaningful to Rin somehow, but never end up asking her about it. Just doesn't want to feel lonely, bro. I don't bring up the forbidden topic anymore either, and try and stop thinking about it altogether. It's hard to do so, and doesn't get any easier with the passage of time. Also, the idea of being turned down and then not feeling awkward about being friends is a hard one to get over, I guess. But it's also one you gotta realize is totally human. That people sometimes just don't want to fuck you, and you gotta be like, well, they were cool before I said I was gonna fuck them, so they're still cool. We still hang out. It's not as weird as they make it out to be in the high school movies. My heart aches every time I look at the awkward figure of the girl I described I liked, yet who refuses to acknowledge it. It's okay, bro. I still can't seem to find the right words to talk to her about anything at all, but I find quite solace in observing her from nearby. The distance between us doesn't feel that huge when I can come close to her, even if it's like this. Rin works like a demon. There is barely a moment when she's without a brush between her toes, or not walking in circles around her current work in progress, estimating it from every angle and distance. She seems to be completely taken over by her will to work, and to change herself into the sort of artist she believes would be worthy of the trust of Nomiya and Sai have placed in her. Okay, so she's like putting a lot of pressure on herself, which I guess makes sense because they did also put a lot of pressure on her. Piles of sketches, works in progress, tubes of oil paint, and brushes slowly begin to crowd the small atelier, making it even messier than it was before Rin acquired the right to use it. I offer to help her clean up every now and then, but each time she refuses. It dawns on me that in her mind, the room is not an utter chaos, rather her system of keeping track of everything is so elaborate only Rin herself can make sense of it. Makes sense. She knows exactly where everything is, from the tiniest brush to the half-empty tube of crimson that's on the perfect shade for some picture in progress. Rin walks from one painting to another, looking at them as if not remembering that she made them. She talks to herself, or to the paintings, even when I'm present, always just quietly enough that I can't make out the words. Every day, Rin pours herself onto the canvas for hours on end, squeezing every bit of her ability and even her soul to make it good on that promise she made to me or to herself. Black marks appear beneath her eyes, sure sign that she's been skipping sleep in favor of painting. I'm somewhat surprised. What? I'm somewhat surprised to see her at school a few times. Really? I never go and say hello, though, as though it would break some silent magic of the evenings we share at the atelier. Sometimes Sai comes when I'm there. She gives a certain kind of look when she shows up. I think she doesn't like that I'm always hanging out with Rin up here, but she never says a word about it. That's strange. Okay. She isn't quite as full of praise for Rin's work as Nomiya, but is visibly impressed nevertheless. However, when she turns her eyes from the wonderful works of art to look upon the little redhead girl that made them, a sudden deep sadness floats onto the surface of her expression. Yeah, for sure. I can't explain it. She never talks about it. She's getting reminded of herself, bro. She was that void of work before, and she doesn't like it. June turns into July almost without warning. End of term exams looms dangerously close. But all I can think of is Rin. I feel like a sleepwalker at school, looking forward only to the next time I get to visit that silent place above Sai's gallery. After Rin refuses my attempts at directly helping with her work, I try to figure out other ways to help her. It finally dawns on me that she isn't eating properly. I wonder what she is eating. She doesn't. How does she wash her feet? I guess she must have like a thing of water just on the floor. My course of action decided, I stop at the convenience store before going to catch the bus downtown on my next visit to the studio. I feel very energetic as I open the door of the atelier and greet Rin. I brought you some fruit. You need some vitamins and actual food, after all. Do you even eat up here? I do eat. If I didn't eat, I couldn't paint. Then why don't you eat a couple of these? Shake the bag full of ripe oranges in my hand and employ to tempt Rin into taking a break. To my surprise, she actually lays her brush down and walks over to me to see what I'd brought. Her expression doesn't change at all when she looks into the bag. I can't eat oranges, Hisao. It doesn't work well with my feet. It's alright, I'll do it. That's cute. Of course I knew that. She told me herself, after all. I extract the tiny fruit knife I had with me and select one of the round fruits. After making the initial cut, I begin to peel it with my fingers. The strong scent of cut orange rind immediately fills the air as thousands of tiny droplets of oil burst from the skin. It's such a visceral sounding image. I remove the first section of the hard peel and shot a glance at Rin. Shoot a glance. So, how's the work going? I don't know. Feels like I'm at the center of some huge mountain of jelly. And have to dig my way out. Must be stressful. I think it might be. Even though it's just painting, all this, everything feels really strange. I wonder if Rin's the kind of person who likes to carefully remove all the white fibrous stuff from oranges before eating them, or just careless type who eats them as they come. Maybe neither. So is it careless to just eat the white stuff? I'm lazy and I don't think it's bad. I'm the former type, so I meticulously clean the orange slices one by one while Rin watches the process with mild curiosity. Realize that I don't have the faintest idea of her likes or dislikes or any of the other little details that make up the concept of a person who, for those around them, that was a deep-ass sentence real quick. It's like this, It's like in all this time I haven't learned much about her at all. This is a very specific thing that nobody knows about anybody. First of all, don't be like, I wonder if she likes taking all the white stuff off her oranges. God, I know nothing about her. Like, I don't know that about anybody in my life. Like, bro, it's okay. Once I finished lamenting that fact, I realized that I've cleaned the entire orange and nearly split into slices, and I held a slice up, bring it closer to Rin so she can pick it up. Here. She eating with her... Okay, yeah. I was like, what do you mean pick it up? Just put it in her mouth. She takes it directly between her lips and into her mouth hole. This weird sentence. Her lower lip briefly brushes against my fingertip. Rin chews the slice carefully, savoring it as much as possible. I become fixated on the movements of her jaw, that trickled juice glistening on her lip, the way her throat moves when she swallows the orange slice. What is with this sentence? Bro, are you good? After I realize what I'm doing, I turn away, feeling embarrassed about watching her so intently. It's not the same as it usually is. The orange? Painting. Oh, well, is anything like that ever the same? It is. Sometimes, I think. I don't know what, though. I might be starting to paint differently soon, if this goes on. Well, wouldn't that just be the change you keep talking about? She thinks about it, blinking her eyes a few times nervously. For a moment, absolutely nothing happens, as if time itself did a double take. We stare at each other in silence, only that faint, tangy scent of orange floating between us, the muffled sounds of traffic in the background. I then pick up another slice and hold it to her. She takes it from me with her mouth, just like the first one. I didn't think it would be like this. Well, keep on going and see what happens. It's not like you could do anything else. Yeah, it's the only thing I can do. After that, she says nothing more. Fuck me. After that, she says nothing more. In the ensuing silence, I feed her in the rest of the orange, one slice at a time. Then I peel another for her. Jesus. Which she still eats as well. The third I eat myself, and the rest are left in the plastic bag, which I put on the small desk next to the couch. She stands up and returns to her painting with a strange look in her eyes. Sorry, I'm swallowing. I just drank coffee off screen because I sneezed. With a strange look in her eyes that I haven't seen before. With most of her expressions, it is completely unreadable. Even if I asked, she wouldn't explain what it means. Okay.